After that, I will introduce one tool named Pluto and how to work on that tool. Now, what are the merits of hierarchical clustering with respect to k-means or such kind of clusterings that I already discussed? That you realize that there are some merits of hierarchical clustering over k-means. Do you have any idea? No. Yes. So only one merit is no need to give the number of clusters, but instead of giving the number of clusters, you have to assign the some threshold, similarity threshold. Means two documents will be related to same cluster if they show 50% similarity in their content or 60% similarity in their contents. This is different way. If you don't have idea of number of clusters, that how many clusters may be possible, but you have idea that if two documents shows 50% similarity, then we will consider them as a same cluster. Then you can use such type of hierarchical clustering algorithm. So basic thing is threshold. Generally, hierarchical clustering algorithm use two types of clustering. First is divisive. Consider entire document set as a one cluster, then divide and then divide again and then divide again until you reach the some threshold. And this is the bottom up approach that I discussed here. Then how we can identify the number of clusters. Suppose we fix that this is our frequency threshold. Then how can we identify the number of clusters? For example, initially we start from here. We consider each data point as an initial clusters. Then based on their similarity, we will just check for that we will calculate a matrix for similarity. This is the diagonal point, no need to fill that point. C1 with respect to C2, similarity with C1 to C3, C1 to C4, we fill that matrix. Now in that matrix, if C1 shows maximum similarity with, suppose here is C1 and this is C4, shows maximum similarity with C4, then we will merge them. Again we check the maximum similarity. Suppose C2 shows maximum similarity with this is C2 shows maximum similarity with C3, C5, and based on that we start initial level of merging. And then are you able to understand? First, identify the threshold. Suppose our frequency threshold range lies between 0 and 1 and we fix our frequency threshold 0.5. Okay, we want, and this is our frequency threshold line 0.5. Okay, so what I will do, I will calculate the matrix and check whether C1 is similar to C2. If its occurrence frequency, if its similarity is greater than 0.5 and highest. Now we identify that C4's similarity with C1 is more than 0.5 also and highest also. So we will merge C1 and C4 and we will continue this process. Now at this frequency threshold we will stop. Now after this frequency threshold we can identify all points which are related to this dendrogram line will be one cluster. Now this is a dendrogram line where our threshold cuts. Below that this will be another cluster. This will be another cluster and this will be another cluster. So this is the basic technique behind the hierarchical clustering. How we cut, this is a concept, grow up and then cut based on the frequency threshold. Now what is the problem with such type of clustering algorithms? Can you imagine some problems with such clustering algorithms? This is general trend of all such clustering algorithms which belongs to the hierarchical clustering algorithms class. Yes. So the basic problem is, suppose you assign C1 and C4 as a part of same cluster, and after that you realize that with this cluster which combines C8, C7 and C8 point shows very high similarity with C4 after merging, then you cannot change it. This is the major problem with all hierarchical clustering algorithms. There are a lot of use of hierarchical clustering algorithms or such kind of hierarchical techniques in different areas. For example, morning I discussed some research problems related to multi-class classification. I said that they use same hierarchical structure to achieve multi-class classification also. Same problem occurs here in that part, that with multi-class classification also, because you are inheriting this problem there. This system contains problem which like when you assign any point to any cluster, and in later stage that you will exclude that point from calculation, and then you check with other point. Means you just remove its independent occurrence, and then always remember the part of some cluster, and then calculate similarity with other points or other small clusters. You cannot extract points from that cluster and put from other clusters if it shows better similarity with other clusters. So this is the problem that inherited to multi-class classification also, due to the same nature. Now the hierarchical clustering algorithm, it contains two different stages. First is agglomerative bottom-up step, and second is divisive top-down stages. In bottom-up stage, similar to this stage, and in top-down stage, we consider entire document in given cluster, given set as a single cluster, and then based on some similarity criteria we divide them like that. Again we check after division if more division are possible or not. Again we divide it. Similarly again we divide it and continue until some frequency threshold. We achieve some frequency threshold. This is general pseudocode applicable behind hierarchical agglomerative clustering algorithms. So I already discussed, no need to discuss this. Now some variation of agglomerative clustering algorithm. First is a single link agglomerative clustering algorithm. So I will just give some idea about what is single link clustering algorithm. Okay, suppose A is similar to B, and after that we calculated B is similar to C, then single link clustering algorithm will consider that A is similar to B is similar to C, but there may be some chances that C may not be similar to A. Okay, but in reality this is the trend behind single link agglomerative clustering algorithm. It uses maximum similarity, means it creates matrix, checks the whether the check all the similarity matrices which are above the threshold, user defined threshold, and also shows the maximum similarity. Only then they merge those points. So this is the basic similarity criteria. So similarity between two clusters Ci and Cj will be maximum of x and y, where x represents cluster of Ci and y represents cluster Cj. It suffers from chaining effect. Chaining effect means that I discussed here. It will combine all A, B, C into a single cluster, and here C may not be similar to A. This is called chaining effect. There may be some part like C is similar to D, very similar to D. Again, it will be part of this cluster. So it creates such kind of long elongated chain type of clusters like here discussed. So after merging, how can you calculate the similarity? Suppose after merging of Ci and Cj, the similarity of resulting cluster Ck can be calculated as similarity of Ci and Ck, similarity of Cj and Ck, then check the maximum, select the maximum. If it satisfies the threshold, then merge them. Another problem is means variation of agglomerative clustering is complete link clustering algorithm. This is also not very good, but useful in if you want tighter or spherical clusters. It uses minimum similarity of pairs. For example, suppose there are clusters C1 here, C2 here, before merging C3 here and C4 here. The similarity between C1 and C4 is very high, very high, means maximum. But similarity between C1, C2 and C3 is minimum. You can see the distance between C1 and C3. This complete link clustering algorithm will use this minimum similarity of pair to merge the two clusters through agglomerative stages. The result of such kind of merging, it creates spherical clusters, but highly sensitive to outliers, because generally outliers also shows minimum similarity with points. So the other and most useful version of agglomerative clustering is group average agglomerative clustering. It uses the average similarity across all pairs within the merged cluster to measure the similarity of two clusters. For example, we have cluster A and cluster B. Now we check the similarity between cluster A and cluster B, and this cluster also contains two initial clusters CA1 and CA2. This contains CB1 and CB2. So what this clustering algorithm will do, it will calculate the similarity between CA and CB, which already exists in the cluster. Similarity of CA with CB1 and CB2, similarity of CA2 with CB1 and CB2, and even similarity of CB1 and CB2, and then calculate the average of all similarities, and then check whether it fulfills, whether it crosses the threshold and it is maximum, only then it merges. Means it generally closes all the loopholes points that can be left in calculating similarity measures. It captures everything. So it calculates very tight and pure clusters. Before merging, it again checks their own similarities, other clusters internal similarity also, and means pairwise similarities also. Means this cluster contains 2 points, this cluster contains 3 points, then pairwise similarity between all points and all points inside the cluster also, and then sum them and then calculate average. So the similarity will be exact, highly accurate. That's why it calculates the highest quality similarity, and it gives very good quality clusters. So this is a formula to calculate similarity for such points. Suppose you are going to merge clusters like Ci, this is denoted as Ci and this is denoted as Cj. So Ci union Cj, all points in Ci and Cj minus 1, because you are just to avoid the repeated calculation twice, it applies minus 1, and then calculate the similarity between x and y. This similarity, these two function is just a looping function, means first calculates the internal similarity and then apply the union similarity outside the clusters. So these both similarity functions combinedly applies calculation of clustering inside the similarity and outside the similarity, and the points and this is used to calculate the average of entire similarity. And the important points are, it doesn't suffer the problem of elongated clusters as happened with single link clustering. It reduces the effect of outliers as happened with complete link clustering. Now the strength and weakness of hierarchical clustering algorithms. Strength, it do not require information regarding number of clusters. Already know, you already know. Weakness, first is not efficient, time complexity is very high, O(n) square, n is the number of points, initial points. Another thing is, once decision is made to combine two clusters, it cannot be undone. This is another problem. No objective function is directly minimized. This is simple pseudocode. You can convert this code into program code also if you are interested to implement the clusters. Just you have to do this, like here use list for this active part, and you can use, you are aware of programming languages, Java, .NET, means object oriented programming. So can you calculate list inside list? Okay, let me explain. For example, suppose you have to calculate a system like, there is one list known as clusters. It may contains points. So this is outer list and this is initial list, internal list. There may be any number of clusters and there may be any number of fields. Means this list will grow at this side, and for every such means with every field of this list there should be a list which can grow this side. You can calculate such kind of connected list if you are able to connect, write code. Means just identify one list class to just contain the class, and then again first calculate the list class to put the points, and second calculate again create the list class and then assign the object for that class. Then you can calculate such kind of list structure, and you can grow down also and horizontally also. Then you can easily implement this part. After that, implementation of this algorithm is very easy. These are more very simple programmatical. This is KD tree based algorithm. Do you know KD tree? Actually, to implement such kind of clustering algorithms, classifications, it requires some good knowledge of data structures. So, do you know KD tree? You know B tree, binary search tree. But suppose points are distributed around the field and you have to capture all points. Then how can you represent the points spread in the entire field? For that it requires a data structure used named KD tree. I will just give a very simple demo how KD tree works. Okay. Suppose there are points. All points contains x and y coordinate. Okay, two-dimensional points. So what you will do? First, take all x coordinates, calculate the median of x coordinate. This is median of x coordinate. First you can represent the entire points through x, y coordinate. Median, just put this line. This line, now this will be A and B. So KD tree's initial node will be A and B. Okay, this is your KD tree. Now for this part, now rotate the axis. You have taken x-axis. Now identify the median of all points. Y coordinates median. This is median. So A part will be divided into A1, A2. Is it interesting data structure? Very interesting data structure. Now take this part. Repeat the same process. Earlier you used x coordinate. Now calculate the median of all y coordinate. This is median. This will be B1 and B2. Same. Now rotate the axis. For this A1 part, already taken y coordinate, so take x coordinate and continue the tree. So you can just imagine that how well it representing the data. You know the other algorithms, graph based algorithm like k nearest neighbor or such kind of things, you already know. To implement the k nearest neighbor or such kind of graph based algorithm, KD tree, knowledge of KD tree is compulsory. Without KD tree representation, you cannot implement such kind of graph based nearest neighbor or reverse nearest neighbor based problems. Some advanced version of KD tree are like R tree, R plus tree, R star tree. Some distributed KD tree are also available. Its time complexity is root n, O log O root n. Where n is the number of points. So this is a general demo of KD tree. You can use KD tree also to implement this hierarchical clustering. Now you can imagine that it is very easy to implement this type of hierarchical clustering using KD tree based concept. One more thing, suppose you have more than 2 points, 2D points. Suppose you have 3-dimensional points. Then what you will do? First, as here you partition through x coordinate, after that y coordinate. For this field you will partition through z coordinate. Again you start with x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate, it will continue. So this is a technique to represent the points. For all faster versions of algorithm, suppose you want to implement DB-scan, you know DB-scan density based clustering algorithm. Implementation of DB-scan is available on net, C language based implementation. They used KD tree for K nearest neighbor based clustering algorithm. They used, and even for better means accuracy, you can use KD tree to implement this. So these are the references. So now theoretical part is over. Any question? Just check for 5 questions. These are multiple choice questions. The major thing is, if you want to go inside the clustering algorithm, you want to imagine that what are the actual problems. Then without implementation, analyzing such kind of things is very tough. If you analyze the data structure that are used to implement such kind of clusters, then you will easily imagine what are the actual problems. How can you can enhance the scalability of such kind of problems for large document set. What kind of improvements you can apply. That's why I am just briefly discussing the basic data structure that you can use to implement those things. I have used one term related to crowd intelligence. So first I will explain what is crowd. Actually, I skipped some part of slides. So what is crowd intelligence? Now you already know that with semantics or semantic analysis we already use document set, corpus, knowledge base. What is crowd intelligence? Now people think that instead of depending upon just given local data set or database, if we are able to involve more dedicated set of documents, or if we apply some intermediate corrections during the learning process, then it is known as crowd intelligence. Means it try to capture the intelligence of dedicated corpus. Now question number 5 also, you can check it. Now see the answer. For first answer is B and C, second answer is B, C, D, third answer is A, C, D, fourth answer is A, fifth answer is A and C. Actually each chapter, I will slightly introduce this material. Each chapter contains the basic introduction, where it is used. For example, document clustering. What is the basic use, current use of document clustering? You read the Google News. Did you read the Google News? When you read the Google News, then when you click on some news, then immediately same related topics or related news, they will start crawling, so that you can continue spending time on their site, so that they can put some more advertisement on their site and they will earn some more money. This is the use. Try to engage you in reading the news. During that time they will put lot of advertisement. Suppose by mistake you click on any of them, if you are not clicking, then it's also okay. So this is strategy. And it not only strategy, it also make news very interactive. Suppose you are interested in political news, you just reading some very political events, interesting political events, immediately it will give you another clue that this is this may be another news you may be looking for. So this is the current use of clustering in web, and it is available in Google News. Now some other